On this episode of Carnage, the MX5's got a new motor and we're going for more power! Hey guys, our MX5 needs a new engine because the last time we had on the dyno, it kicked a rod out in very spectacular fashion. So we're going to start prepping this green top for boost. So people keep asking us, what is a green top? Why are they special? And the simple answer is that the green top Barra is Ford's dedicated LPG engine for the Falcon. It has no petrol injectors, just the straight gas mixer there, and they were super reliable, which means not only were they cheaper to run, but they were stronger as well. Ford engineers discovered in the earlier versions of the dedicated LPG Falcon 6 that when they backfired, they bent rods. So if you buy a green top, it's gonna have stronger rods and you're gonna be able to feed it some boost. Certainly more boost than that boat anchor over there. Another question a lot of people have been asking us is, why don't you buy a turbo motor? Why not do it right straight from the start? Well, which turbo motor? If we buy a BA engine, it's going to have the weaker rods, so it's going to be weaker than this thing. If we buy a later FG engine or something like that, well, that can cost $5,000 or more at this stage. This is $500. That $5,000, is it really worth 10 times the cost? I don't think so. Plus, these are higher comp, so you can make more power at lower boosts with these engines than you can with those other ones, which are only about, 8.7 to 1 versus 10.3 to 1. I think it's a no-brainer. So now it is time to get this thing up on an engine stand, give it new oil pump gears, new valve springs, head studs, new head gasket, the whole works. Strengthen it up even further, bolt it into that Mazda and send it. Okay, it's done. It is ready to go in the Mazda. Maybe the other way up first. Hulk strong. There we go, right way up. And here we are with our new motor. We're ready to install it into the Mazda. The Mazda's in position. We've got a jack under its transmission, and the engine has a much shinier rocker cover, you may notice. We took the rocker cover off the engine that was destined for turbo taxi. It had a very nice rocker cover, but seeing we couldn't use it, we decided to repurpose it for this one. It looks very pretty. I reckon we should, get it in there. So we're going to take this up off the stand, put the correct flex plate on the back, and then drop her in the car. So I reckon let's lift this thing up.
Now obviously nobody makes barra mounts into an MX5, so what we did is we use a universal barra mounts kit from Tough Mounts. Really simple kit, welds together, and it comes with these plates. Now if you're like us and you leave stuff everywhere, sometimes you can get stuff muddled up, but thankfully Tough Mounts are smart. Nice little code on these, so BAR for Barra, Uni because they're universal mounts, but most importantly P for passenger side. The other one's got a D for driver's side, so instead of having to decode what mount goes where, you just go, yep, passenger side, bolted on, done. That's a long way off.
Well, as soon as Kean's finished over there, we're going to lift this thing up, bolt that trans in properly because we only got a couple bolts holding it in place. And to get the rest in, we've got to lower the back of the trans down, which means up on the hoist. But the hardest hurdle has been successfully jumped, so let's get on it. Green top, green top, green top. So we were hoping to have this thing running this afternoon, and we're not far away. We've probably got an hour's work left in this thing, you know. Radiator, intercooler, wiring, oil, that's all. But our custom sump has led us astray. We've been a little bit stingy with the old 3-bond. We need to lay a lot thicker seal on this thing. We'll have to come back to this on Monday, I guess.
Okay, so it's a new day. So far, I've just been playing around with the wiring while Scotty's off hunting unicorns. Once he comes back, we'll put the rest of the front of the car together, crank it over, see if it starts, and then hopefully hit the dyno really soon. So I'm going to jump back in, hook up some more wires, and get some progress on the board.
How's it all going?
Good. How was the search?
Did I find any unicorns?
Yes.
Well, I found some 3-bond. There's my unicorn. Gotta love our cheap eBay intercooler. Gained us an easy 30 kilowatts at the wheels on the dyno. It comes from China. So we've got a bit of weld splatter on this bolt, and it's just causing us some dramas. We can't tighten it up. I just tried to cut it off with this tap or die. I can't remember which one it is, tap or die. I'm sure someone will remind me on the old internet. But yeah, we've broken that. So we're gonna have to just cut that off with an angle grinder, poke it up, stick a new bolt through it so we can tighten up our radiator mount. Unfortunately, because of coronavirus, every workshop is just buying up big stocks of 3-bond at the moment, so all we could get was this dinky little tube instead of our usual big Ryobi unit, which works awesome. So I'm going to lay a pretty heavy bead on this, drop a solid load on it, and seal it up as good as we can. Let's put it on.
All right, so it's time to put some coolant in this thing. Now, unfortunately, we've run out of the pre-mixed 50-50 coolant because most of it ended up in the Trovo's oil system. If you've seen that, you'll know why, but that's all fixed now. We have this 100% concentrate, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this spare bottle with some water and just mix 50-50 ourselves. That way, I can keep this concentrate as is. We can get a nice 50-50 blend because this car doesn't have a generic radiator cap or filling method, so to try and fill it with something like a bucket would not be much fun. So I think this will be the easiest and cleanest way to do this.
Well, this is kind of the moment of truth. We're tipping some Valvoline into it, but will it come out the bottom this time? We don't know. Hopefully I've put enough sealant on that sump this time to make sure it all stays inside. Pretty close to firing this thing up. All right, ears and eyes. So there we have it. The green top is in and it runs, which is awesome because it's always gratifying to hit the key and have that engine start the first time. But it is booked in for a dyno session down at Maxx Performance tomorrow, and we're hoping to see somewhere north of 600 horsepower at the tyres. Last time we saw 518 horsepower at the tyres before she blew, but new engine, it can handle a lot more boost, so let's send it. And we're back at Maxx Performance. The car's got a new motor, brand new green top. It's looking for more power. We're going to aim for 400 rear wheel kilowatt, and then I want to see if we can make 600 rear wheel horsepower out of this thing. But the turbo is a little bit on the small side for this, so we may run out of turbo. Let's see how we go. Let's run it up. Well, our first run was a pretty epic failure. If you've watched our building a barrel for boost videos, you would have seen me putting the old plugs back in the engine. And that turned out to be a bit of an error because those old copper plugs broke down so badly that the Mazda made no power at all. So we fitted a fresh set of genuine Ford BF LPG plugs, which are actually Denso Iridium plugs, and the power came back straight away. So after a couple little check runs, we've put it on SP3, sent it to 19 pounds. Yes, it's making a little bit less power at the moment, but that's because we're running less timing in it. Zane's been very conservative with it. Doesn't want a repeat of last time. And it shouldn't repeat last time. It's got much better rods in it. It is a better engine, and we're going to see some good power out of this thing. But we do have an issue. Our boost controller has shat the bed. It's a bit of a shame, but it's just one of those things. And we don't know at the moment whether it's going to give us all the boost or none of the boost. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a turbo ECU in this car, because then we can set the boost reference via RPM. So instead of ramping in really hard where it's got to, could bend rods, break rods down here, you can step the boost in via RPM, bring it in, bring it up higher so we can take it up to like 22, 23 pounds, somewhere like that. That'd be great, but step it in by RPM, won't break engines, and it should give us a better result. But that'll all have to happen another day. We are out of time. So you're going to see it all on a future episode of Carnage.